I won't deny it, I'm a Southsider. You don't wanna mess with me. Got the police rushing at me. But I'm calm cause I'm smoking that CBD. Said I won't deny it, I'm a Southsider. You don't wanna mess with me. Got the police rushing at me. But I'm calm cause I'm smoking that CBD. Says she won't deny it, she's a Southsider. You don't wanna mess with her. Got the police rushing at her. But she kills them with kindness and laughter. Otra vez. She won't deny it, she's a Southsider. You don't wanna mess with her. Got the police rushing at her. But she kills them with kindness and laughter. Cause she's a comedian. So let the games begin. Like Michael Jordan, we going for the win. Hey, 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 hey.
Wow.
Hanging out, partying like it's your birthday. Hello everyone out there. I'm Brian Tierney. This is the Blessed Life University podcast, the BLU podcast for short. With me tonight is Adriana Nana Rodriguez. She is a stand-up comedian. She's the owner of Pafuera Productions, LLC. Through Pafuera, she hosts a monthly show known as the Good Vibe Comedy Show. And that is Good Vibe without an S, correct? Okay, just want to make sure I put some respect on that shit. Nana recently performed at the famous Laugh Factory, the Lincoln Lodge, and Comedy Clubhouse. She's a part-time personal trainer, keeping your ass in shape. She just performed 2 shows in Indiana last night, which we are going to talk about right now. So, Nana, what's cracking? What's good?
What's up? I just want to say, wow, that intro, that was custom made. I heard that. I like that. You could probably sell that for like weed companies like CBD. I'm just saying, like the commercial game is not here yet. And I was just thinking, like, that's a commercial. That's a Super Bowl commercial. That is something right there. That's a hologram with Tupac there and you in it, and I could just see the gummies and them selling it during the Super Bowl commercial. That was all flashing in my head when I heard you rep that. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? I'm sorry. What's up? How you guys doing? What? That blew me away. Cheers. Yes,
cheers.
Salud.
Good to see you.
Yes, stay hydrated. Yes, the older you get, you gotta drink a lot of water, and that's why we pee on ourselves when we get older, because we're drinking so much fucking water.
That's true.
It's true, man. Do you notice at night, you at night, I wake up at like 4 a.m. thinking, I'm either going to get up and pee, or I'm just going to try to outsmart my bladder. And I never win. I always get up at 3 a.m. like, I got to fucking pee again.
I like to get it out of my system so I can focus.
That's true.
I do. Like, and you know what the sad part is? It's been like every motherfucking day. Like, as soon as I turn 37. You know what I mean?
Your bladder's bad, right?
Yeah, you know, like, the problem is...
But see, you could whip it out and pee anywhere. Like, that's the thing. If I were you, I'd be pissing everywhere. I'd be like, whoop, here you go. See, I gotta sit and squat and, like, I gotta put my angles out. I gotta push my butt out. Like, I gotta make sure I don't pee on myself. The thing about you could just whip it out.
That's true, but I still go in the toilet most of the time. But,
that's why I don't have one. I'd be whipping it out everywhere.
I had a friend who taught me how to piss in public without getting caught most of the time. And also, the swagger and confidence of someone who just doesn't give a fuck. So, but I'll have to connect you with my girl. She, and not my girl, I don't want to incriminate her ass if it was her. But, she pisses in public too. Like, she does this thing where she, like, opens up the car door and she'll kind of, like, sit on the motherfucking, like... the little ledge, whatever they call that on the car, and she just be kind of chilling, like, fucking,
wow,
and just squat and just piss it out.
She is definitely a pro squatter. That's what I call it, a pro squatter.
Pro tip number 2, open both doors so the front one's out and the other one, and try to, like, pull up close to something where it's kind of, like, blocked off like a little piss cubicle, kind of like a little urinal, but in the motherfucking, like, alley
Dangerous.
Or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, people shouldn't be hating on nature, like, especially if you're trying to hide somewhere.
Yeah.
The neighbors, the fucking police. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
Yo, it's an emergency, dog.
Yes.
I wouldn't judge you if you were doing it. Like,
I don't judge. It's just, I just wish I could just pee like you guys. I just wish I could.
It is nice. It does have its advantages.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, no, to your point, fucking. It happened kind of all of a sudden. Like, there was times when I was younger, didn't matter how much I drank or none of that shit. I could sleep the whole night through, and I'd get up and piss.
Yeah.
Now, it's like 4 a.m, like, fuck!
Yeah.
I was just about to have a good dream.
Yes.
Or
Yeah,
fucking, I was in the middle of one, and I'm like, you can't really hit to be continued on a motherfucking dream.
No, you
most of the
can't.
time.
But don't you wish you could? I think the same. I'm in there like sleeping, like, oh no, please go back to bed. This is a good part. And I always wake up and I'm like, fuck.
Right when you're about to fucking win and shit like that, that's when that shit, you wake up, you gotta go piss.
I know. I usually dream about eating meat because I'm vegan right now. So I've been dreaming about eating meat. Everybody thinks that's weird. I'm like, yeah, well.
Right now you're vegan?
Yeah, I went vegan in January, like full time. Yo.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's that going so far?
That is a challenge. It's definitely been a challenge, especially being like from here. You know, we have good food, so we're like the beefs, the hot dogs, that stuff.
Say word,
You
say
know,
word,
like,
say word, say word.
I feel like I don't realize how much I eat that stuff until you stop eating that stuff, you know? Like, I thought it was normal to eat a gyro 3 times a week, you know? I guess it's not, right? Like,
I mean, to me, it seems like I never really fuck with gyros too much or whatever, but like I'll eat them. I'm not
like,
opposed to it.
No, I love beefs and, you know,
Fuck
hot
yeah.
dogs. Like, we're known for hot dogs, you know, so.
Well, you were raised on that shit, right? I was.
Yeah, heck yeah. So it's definitely different. You do crave it, but you just kind of like just season the shit out of your veggies, you know, like, and eat a lot of rice. You know, it's not that bad. It's definitely interesting. You definitely have to stay up on your eating though. Like, you definitely gotta make sure you're eating enough, because if not, you're gonna crave things. In your water game, talk about water game, dude. You gotta drink a hell of a lot of water.
I do. I've been drinking more lately than like ever, and like I sit a lot for my job, and I'm sitting here in the office, and fucking, you know, it helps me to get up, because when you sit a lot, like, that's just not good for your blood pressure.
No.
And you can feel it. If you've been
Right.
sitting for a long period of time, you stand up, you're like, fuck, am I out of breath? Like, I just stood up. What the fuck? But drinking enough water to keep me getting up and going to the bathroom, like,
You look
helps
like
me
you
to
lost
fucking piss.
weight though.
Girl, I wish.
I know
I'm
you
scared
stopped
to look in the
drinking for-
fucking camera view of this
No.
thing. I gotta be a little better. I'm gonna cut it down to real low carb or no carb. I'm gonna try to eliminate sugar. We'll see what happens. But I've been lifting weights, so that maybe gives my arms a little bit more definition and shit.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. You look tighter in the arms. You look like
a little
you're ready
bit.
to beat some ass right now. You
Well-
look like you could be a bouncer or like a top security guard right now.
At
you
5'5".
Hey man, I've seen some little security guards. You know, they're like little chihuahuas. They'll fuck you up. I don't fuck with that. Size does not matter. It's the fight in you.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
well, you know me. I've been fucking scrapping since way back.
You
We went
seen
to grade
UFC?
school,
Some of those motherfuckers are little, okay, and they kick ass.
That's my favorite shit is the
So
UFC.
you know, yeah, that shit's.
I wouldn't want to fuck with any of them.
No.
None of them. If you know technique and you got fucking good cardio and shit, that's a
That's all
nasty
you
combination.
need. It is. That's all you
Nasty
need.
combination. And speaking of vegan, it's got to be hard for you to be vegan because
It worked
you
out a
live
lot, yeah.
well. You live right by fucking Burger King and Portillo's and shit.
Portillo's, yeah. Oh my God.
I don't know which
tell
one of
you
them
a
smells
story.
better. They blend
Hold
together.
on. That is so funny. So I was high one day because, you know, that's what you do. You know, you get the munchies. And I was like, you know, I'm going to go to Portillo's and see if they got a vegan option. I pick up my cousin. I go through the drive-thru and I'm like, hey, do you guys have something that's not meat? You know, I don't eat meat. She's like, fish. I'm like, it's not really, you know. I mean, I'm like 90% vegan. Like, here's the thing. People are like, I'm vegan. So, like, oh, you must wear hemp and you must not rock leather. I'm like, hold on. I'm not that vegan. I'm not like PETA vegan, all right? Like, I'm still normal. I mean, I'm not saying that vegans are normal, but, you know, I'm not that type of vegan where it's like, I judge you like church, you know? I grew up Catholic. I know what it feels to be shamed, all right? So, some of y'all vegans need to calm down. I'm like 80% vegan. I'll dabble in, you know, a little bit of eggs if I have to.
They're good.
I might accidentally eat a little bit of cream cheese that's not vegan, but I'm not betraying my people here, okay? So
Well, you just started.
I know.
You
It's like
started in
the
January.
pressure. This is like, relax, everybody. It's like, oh, did you smell the bacon? I might have smelled it, but I didn't lick it. All right, relax. So, what the hell was I saying?
Well, then how about fish?
Oh, fish, yeah, I'll eat fish. I like fish. And then
It's good for
but
you.
then I say that and people are like, you're a pescatarian. I'm like, you know what? I'm just whatever I am. I'm like, I feel like I'm coming out of the closet all over again, you know? Like,
Fucking shit.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm just
all
what I
that
am.
fucking judgment and
Yeah.
shit. It's like, I'm just trying to eat healthy.
yeah, I'm just trying to eat healthy.
Take a
Really, that's
break.
what it is. I want to take a break because, you know, it's good to take a break. I've been watching a lot of documentaries and reading things about, like, it's good to take a break from things. And that's it. Like, I don't know why it freaks people out, though. It does. Like, people freak out when you're doing different. Like, when you start doing different things and changing, people are like, it's like scary, and it's like, why is it scary for you? I'm the one that's changing. I'm the one going through things, but I think life is all about evolving, right? Like, you're supposed to evolve. If you don't evolve, then I don't think you're experiencing life the way it should be, right? We shouldn't be the same the next day. Something should happen where we should have learned something and kind of like not look at it and be like, all right, now I know. Like, I don't know. Every day I feel like I like want to learn something new, or I want to be able to, in any form.
Me too.
Because I think that's how you learn and how you evolve.
Me too. I was a wild child and shit, and I know we both kind of were in our own ways, but you don't have that same energy, and your body changes over time, like we were just talking about piss in the middle of the night and all this, right? And so, I start doing different shit. Like, I journal now. I do a little bit of meditation, but I do yoga. Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm doing yoga tomorrow night. They do it.
Nice.
Almost every Monday night.
I do that more.
Are you working tomorrow night?
Yeah, I close.
Oh,
but I do heavy meditation, and I love, like, I do heavy meditation. I do heavy mantras. Like, I do, like, I play on some, like, heavy meditation music for, like, an hour and just, like, zone out to it.
I'm going to give you, or I'll send you these MP3s. Maybe I'll put them on Google Drive and share them with you. So there's this book by this guy, Jack Cornfield. Interesting fucking name. I think it's Cornfield.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I just came from Indiana. It was nothing but cornfields.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But he has guided meditations, so it's like a little 5 or 6 track, and they have different ones for like different things. So like, you have ones to deal with emotions, or to deal with mental focus, or focus on your breathing, whatever. And so I'll share those with you. But yeah, I've been doing all that shit, exercising and shit. So like, thank you for the compliments, telling me I look fucking toned or whatever. But it wasn't like that for a long time because I neglected that shit, and I, for a long time, like in my teenage years in high school, I exercised like crazy. In my 20s, I kind of kept up with it. And then law school hit, and I only did like cardio, not really much weightlifting. But I let my body go, especially in these first few years of the business, and I just started shrinking. I could see it, and it's like, it's sad. It's like I could have been much stronger and much healthier if I did it if I did it more consistently throughout the years. And it feels so good to exercise. Like, I'll do just a bunch of different, like, weight routines. I'll do, like, 4 or 5 different things. Everything from fucking legs and arm strength with, like, weighted squats and, pushing weights upward. And, like, grip strength shit, too, because you need that. Like, if you really need to get a hold of a motherfucker, you need to get a hold of them. You know what I mean? Like, really get a hold of them. Like, you ain't getting away from me, motherfucker. Yeah. But yeah, I've been working on all that shit. And it makes you feel good, And so, you got to do that as you get older, because I was over there at Aldi's last night. I'm picking up this wine and all this, and
this is where the wine's right. Yo, Aldi's got a good timeout. Shout out to Aldi's at their liquor section. They are like, it's like a liquor store up in there, man.
It's like a 1-aisle liquor store.
I know.
And the prices are right too with inflation and shit. You gotta be fucking watching them pennies and shit. And it's name brand shit too. A lot of the time, it's like you get these manufacturers where they don't want to like slow down. They want to keep their production going. So they're like, we'll sell this to you. Just put a fucking generic label on there and shit. You know what I mean? Or sometimes they actually have name brand shit, but it's a little more fewer and farther in between. But whatever. I got respect for game. You know what I mean? All the Polish kids we used to go to grade school, they always used to shop at Aldi's and shit. And that's why the motherfuckers are rich. They had a fucking $1 million of mattress money at least for every fucking kid they had and shit like that, because they fucking save money like a motherfucker. They're eating them 39-cent chips back in the day, them little bags of 39-cent chips from Aldi's and shit. Oh, shit. But I'm over there in the fucking parking lot. I'm loading up my shit. And I don't know if it was Burger King or Portillo's, but I think it might have been Burger King because it always kind of was. Like, even before that Portillo's was there, it was like in the cartoons where you see the little fucking scent of like steam just fucking float over there with that shit. Like, it smells so good. Like a goddamn block party.
It does. Oh, fuck. It does. It smells like barbecue. Like, smells like summertime by my house all the time. I fucking hate it. Especially when it's hot out. I'm like, fucking weenies. I smell weenies. I'm gay and I'm fucking craving weenies. I'm like, I fucking want a weenie. So...
It's alright, you gotta mix it up once in a while.
Hell no. Fuck that, I'll stay vegan. Fuck that. Keep that shit away from me. Keep your weenie away from me. But I went to Portillo's and I asked, the girl's like, oh wait, you can ask at the window for a veggie dog. I'm like, alright, cool, I'm gonna ask for a veggie dog. And I was so excited. I'm like, man, they got a veggie dog. How come nobody said anything? I didn't even see it on the menu. Why are they keeping it away from vegans? This is the next best thing. Oh my god, Portillo. And I have stock in Portillo, so I'm thinking like, this is the next best thing.
Fuck yeah, me too, girl.
So I go home. I tell my cousin, like, we'll share half. He's not a vegan, but he likes to try vegan things. You know how you got that one friend that's like, I'll try it. So I open it.
Good,
yeah, I open it up. I fucking look at it. I'm looking for the weenie. There's no weenie. They fucking sold me a Chicago-style hot dog with the ingredients and the condiments in that fucking bun, but no weenie.
I thought there was actually going to be like a meat substitute.
Yeah, me too.
Thing.
I'm like, you said.
Do you think they just forgot to put it in there?
I don't know.
Like one motherfucker, they're going on the assembly line. One motherfucker forgets to put the thing in there. The other guy just throws the condiments on, wraps it up, throws it out.
I was just like, oh my god. And my cousin's like, what is it? And he was laughing because like, oh my god, they gave you a veggie dub. Basically, they gave you everything but the weenie. I was like, should I go on Twitter? What do I do here? Do I take a picture?
Talk to the manager.
Nah, I just thought it was funny. I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. No weenie.
Well, I want to know the answer now. I want to know if they
it probably
forgot
was
to put
just
it in or
no.
what.
I don't think there was no weenie because it wasn't even on the menu. So.
Well, I mean, they fucking.
So that's the kid. That's what I want to know, guys. Can you solve this mystery? Is there a real veggie hot dog at Portillo's, or did I get duped? did they just make this shit up? I think she was like, "Yo, bitch, no one's ever came here asking for a meatless option at Portillo's. Take your ass fucking to." Fucking what? Whole Foods. I don't know. Like, she was probably like, go to Burger King for their Impossible Burger. We don't have an Impossible Beef.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Maybe it was like an Impossible Dog. You know what I mean?
Nah, I don't think they do. Because they would have advertised it. Like, Burger King advertised the shit out of their Impossible Burger.
Yeah, well, fucking Portillo's got taken over in the last, 10 years. So back in the day, it was the dude Dick Portillo or whatever. And now there was this private equity firm from Boston who fucking bought a majority stake in Portillo. So I'm thinking maybe because of the corporate shit, they're like, all right, we're gonna switch it up. We want to fucking be friendly to everybody. Fucking broader appeal with the vegan dogs and maybe an Impossible Burger. I wouldn't rule that shit out. They might have an Impossible Burger.
Hey, Portillo's, I will advertise you. We can make it up that way, all right? I won't go get mad. I'll forgive you. Just get me. Brian can rap the song about the weenie, and I could be the one eating the weenie in the commercial.
Like, oh, this shit's so good. I'm getting it all over my shirt.
Oh my god, that's funny, man.
Well, that fucking song or whatever from the beginning, I've been doing it every time. At the beginning is like a little intro. We do a couple of different ones. Like in the wintertime, we do I Got Sunshine and shit. Just to try to get some motherfuckers some sunshine at the beginning. Yeah. And then that one, I was like, I always had my own version where it's like, I won't deny it, I'm a Southsider, you don't fuck with me because they can't do nothing to an attorney and shit like that because I threw in that little part or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's two versions of that song. So there's the Tupac one, there's a Nate Dogg one. So lately I've been doing the more singing one, like the Nate Dogg shit. And in order to get that right, I rehearsed it 50 times before you got here. I'm kidding. It probably wasn't that many.
It was probably 500 times.
It was less than that. I didn't have fucking time. Here's the weird part. So I had a buddy in law school. Shout out to Adam Rayford, and he's like, I'm all about timing. He's like, you give me an hour, I'll get it done in an hour. You give me 5 hours, I'll get it done in 5 hours. So today you're like, yo, I got some shit to do. I got a meeting with a friend of mine. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, all right, well then. Shit, I was barely ready, right around the time you were getting here. I fucking, cleaned up around here. I mean, there's still some more work to be done, but I got a lot of shit done and cleared out a lot of paperwork because that shit will fucking kill you. But now I'm fucking giving back to the circle of life in the recycling bin. Oh, shit. But yeah, no, so... Yeah, it took all that time, and I was like, oh, what am I going to do for fucking Adriana and shit like that? I'm like, I got to make up a song real quick. And I'm like, I gotta think of something that rhymes, so I fucking did that real quick.
Damn.
But it worked out.
Yeah.
I fucking hit it on the first time.
Yeah.
I love you, Brian. You did good, motherfucker.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good, man. Hell yeah.
So, last night you had them shows in Indiana. So, tell us about that.
That was very interesting. It was Indiana, it was fun. I went to this spot in Indiana. I was probably the only Latino there in the crowd. But it was interesting. That was definitely challenging. I think as a comedian, it's very important to step out your comfort zone. You're funny amongst your people, but you really get to see if you're funny amongst strangers, right? So it's definitely rewarding to hear strangers come up to you that you've never met. Tell you well, that was real good. Let me know when you're back out here and making connections. So that was very motivating. I think as a performer, you're always looking how to challenge yourself, because that's what it's about. It's growing and working the room, and if you're not funny, that's okay. It's part of the gig. You're gonna not be funny in certain aspects, but it was fun. Yeah, it was definitely fun. It was definitely what you expected in Indiana. Cornfields, like, let me just tell you, I was nervous the whole way there. I was like, I had all these gummies on me, and I was with my pen. I'm not saying I was driving, but I'm just saying.
You had your pen in your possession.
I had it, yeah, and it was just.
But it was hanging out there.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all.
Yeah. It was interesting. It's just Indianans are very interesting people, you know.
Well,
a lot of Cubs fans over there. Holy cow! I wore my Sox jersey. I didn't wear it to the venue. I wore it to have just in case. It was like my backup outfit. And one guy was like, "Are you a Cubs fan?" I'm like, "No, I'm a Sox fan." He's like, "Oh," he's like, and he showed me up the front of the building. He's like, "Look at that!" It was like a big like replica Wrigley Field like painting. And I'm like, I didn't even notice that. I was like, I must not walk around with my nose up. I just walk around with like dead straight into people's faces, but. I'm glad I didn't do that, because I would have been a bad night starting off with a wrong jersey in the wrong venue. That's the thing you gotta worry about, you see? You gotta be neutral when you dress. I don't know.
It's
like gangbanging, you know? It's like, what color can I wear for this comedy show, you know? Or like, that's how I feel when I go to like Indiana. Like, all right, what team can I represent here, you know? Like...
Well, the thing is, a lot of people in Indiana are from Illinois.
I know, there is. Yeah, there is.
I have like 2 or 3 friends who are pretty close to me who fucking moved to Indiana. Some of our grade school friends fucking moved out there. Yeah.
It's cheaper.
Our buddy, he was a year younger than us. I helped him with his sale here when he sold, and he fucking moved out there, you know?
Yeah.
It's definitely cheaper in all ways, from taxes to the price of probably consumer goods and shit, you know?
I can't do it. No.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different way of life, you know?
Yeah, it is. It's different. But, I mean, it was cool. I mean, it was funny. I went to, you ever heard of, like, Woo's House? It's, like, a restaurant. They have one, like, in Orland.
It's a
sushi, like, type place.
Yeah.
Well, they had one over there where I was at, and I went, and it was, like, it was cracking in there. Like, you could tell that that's the place where people go on a Friday or Saturday night. The people from town, like, that's where they go to party. I'm just, like, in there. It's just like an adult kiddie land. That's what it looked like. And everybody was just having a good time. A little too much of a good time for me. I was like, oh my God, I want to go back to the hotel. I feel safe there.
This was after the show?
No, this was before the show. It was just interesting, you know. It's cool to meet people. You see people from different walks of life. But yeah, you could tell. Mm-hmm.
I want some sushi now.
Oh man, I love sushi. Love sushi.
You know, Joel has some fucking sushi, like, right over by the little deli counter, and I looked at it the other day, because, like, back in the day, I would have never touched fucking sushi from Joel. But this motherfucker had me looking twice. It was kind of like, ooh.
I've had sushi from Joel, and it's not that bad. Okay?
For real?
Yeah. Heck yeah.
And it wasn't even that expensive looking either. Just some little rolls, little rice rolls.
I have sushi from Joel. I've had sushi from Whole Foods. I've had sushi from Mariano's. I'm a sushi hoe, okay? I've had sushi from everywhere, you know? I like sushi.
Some of them really bougie grocery stores, they have a thing where they'll fucking make it right in the middle. You can watch them make it.
Yeah, they do. Mariano's does
For real?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Fuck, Jewel over here on Archer Avenue, fucking... They got the little Starbucks in there, and sushi's not too far away. I'm like, they're trying to get all those yuppie motherfuckers. Get your coffee, and then you see that shit. Ooh, sushi, I'll have some for lunch. I'll just take that to kind of nibble on you. Sushi, good. But, yeah, so you had the show last night, and you actually did 2 shows. What time did those go on?
One was at 8:30 and one was at 10. Or no, yeah.
Okay.
So right after each one. Yeah.
How long did they give you on the set?
Like 12 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just gotta hit them quick and dirty.
Quick and dirty, yeah. You just get straight to it. Yeah, it was fun. You gotta mess with the crowd. You know, it's just fun to mess with people. Like, that's the best. You know.
Yeah, you gotta test the limits a little bit. Like, absolutely. Who's gonna tolerate this shit? You guys cool or what?
Yeah.
Are we all down? Yeah, no, it's funny because, like, I mean, if you're funny, if you're confident, I feel like you could probably get along with just about anybody or your fucking work a room, because, you know, some of the white comics and shit out there are probably like, I don't know, I don't want to generalize or assume anything, but people get used to it. It's like, you know what I mean, like, they get somebody like you, some fucking street flavor, and fucking came up in Illinois and shit, like, just hit them with some good shit, like some new shit. I'm sure they love it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everybody's got their way of they do it, how they do it. You know, there's street flavor, then there's a totally like different type of comedy, like a shy angle comedy. There's so many different, like that's the thing
I
about
know.
Chicago, is that there's so many different styles of comedy, and it's a great city for comedy. You know, like this is like really a place where you can go into the south side to the north side to anywhere and work all different types of room, you know. So that's good, you know, because it helps you perform on your performance, right? You're working a room on the north side, you're working a room on the south side, working a room in the suburbs, you know. So like the exposure you get from working different rooms is very important.
For sure, for sure. I've seen all sorts of different styles of comedy, and I think the cool thing is maybe I was a little more sheltered from the scene when I was younger, but I feel like there's more rooms now than there ever were
Oh
before.
yeah, no, I think for sure there is a lot more because I feel like there's more opportunity that way. You know, like there isn't. You don't see a lot of women shows as much. There is now. Like there's a lot more popping up, but like it's because we kind of had to make our own shows. You know, that's why that's why I started my thing. You know, I started because there wasn't really much of an outlet, and I wanted to make an outlet and an avenue for more people, not just for myself. It wasn't like I want to throw shows because I want to perform for me. Like it was like I want to throw shows because I want people to perform, because there's a lot more funny people out there. There's way more funnier people than me, and I want people to see them, and I want to help these people get some money and like say, hey man, there's a lot of talent out here. So that's why I started what I started, Pafuera Productions, and that's where it all came from, was for the love of it. Like the people need to see this. People need to go out and see how much talent there is. There's so much out there, especially the women in this city in the comedy game are killing it. You know, there's a lot of great women out there. So shout out to the women in the comedy game. Keep it up.
For sure.
And
for
to the
sure.
men too, but you know the ladies. It is still the almost the end of what, Women's History Month, right? March.
Yeah.
It was also St. Patty's Day. You know.
Yeah,
That was your holiday, right?
Yeah, I'm
You was
celebrating
out there.
with
Where
you
were
guys.
you? Where were you? What would you do, Brian? What'd you do?
Well, I kicked it off actually in February. So
Oh, you kicked it off in February. Okay.
the Dropkick Murphys came through.
Oh, okay.
They're an Irish rock band out of
Yeah, I
Boston.
know who
so
they are, yeah.
They're punk rock, and they go hard in the paint, and I fucking love them because
Where'd
they're
you
like
see them at?
the Radius.
Oh, how is that venue?
It's bigger than I expected.
Really?
It's a fucking giant ass warehouse of a
it?
place. Yeah.
It was nice?
Yeah, it was nice. So like, it's like West Loop over there by like Canal or some shit, and
Pilsen. Yep.
yeah, East Pilsen or whatever. It's on over that way, and fucking it's like they actually have a lot of parking next to the building, which is dope. It's their own lot. Because I was like, fuck, where am I gonna park? Well, when I bought the tickets, they had parking. I'm like, all right. And they didn't really tell you where the fuck it was, but it's like right there, like parking here. And I was like, oh, sweet. Everybody there was really cool. So you get in there, there's like a coat check and a fucking bar, and then there's bars all over the venue, and then like they sell the merch and shit up front. And when you go into the main like corridor of the hall, it's fucking huge. It's like, it's got to be, I mean, at least as long as a football field, like 100 yards, and like maybe
really?
50 wide. It's like, yeah, it's big because the place, it wasn't sold out, but it was full, but it was nice full because it was like so big that you were comfortable. You could,
Yeah,
you weren't
you got-
like
you had
shoulder to
room,
shoulder.
right.
People weren't bumping you. You could get through
Yeah.
and shit. It was dope. So I went. It was me, my friend Diana Nufio. Shout out to Diana and her daughter, and my other friend Sally Martinez. And so her Diana's daughter Karen, she just turned 16, and it was her first show, and she brought a friend of hers from high school, and this was like, the vibe that I got was this like calm kind of relaxed happiness where people were just glad to be out. They weren't enforcing the mask mandate, even though like it wasn't lifted till right, like beginning of March or right at the end of February. But there was like a few people maybe wearing a mask, like I wasn't. I'm like, I've been afraid of the fucking COVID in a long time. I've never really was, but I was more cautious in the past, and now I've just been taking, I've been doing nasal cleansing with disinfectants like betadine, which is like a wound cleaner. They use it in the hospital to like kill bacteria and viruses, and it was Dr. Peter McCullough was saying that fucking they were using that in places like India to really crush the COVID numbers. So you have to dilute it. You can't just take it straight. It's strong shit. So you put it in water, you take like a teaspoon or two and just stir it up, and like you can either use a Novage or like a little baby syringe bulb, and just, you know, you snort it back, get it like to cleanse the whole sinuses, spit it out, gargle with it, and fucking you're good to go. So I've been doing that. I got some ivermectin on Sneak Tip. Like, they tell you that shit doesn't work. Well, that's because they were giving it to people like 3 weeks in when they were dying already and shit. But we saw when fucking my brother's like, dude, I was looking at it when the Queen of England got fucking COVID, and they were showing her medicine regimen. And he's like, when you zoom in the back, you could see they were giving her fucking ivermectin was one of the things. I'm like, oh yeah, you don't want to give it to us, huh, motherfuckers? Just keep on getting stabbed, fucking keep on putting a synthetic fucking spike protein into you and shit. Like, I'm like, so I've been doing all sorts of shit.
No, I didn't get boosted.
I didn't get boosted. I'm not going to get boosted.
Me neither.
And
I got the shots that I was supposed to, but like, I'm only gonna get boosted if they offer me more free stuff. But I ain't doing it for nothing.
Yo,
I ain't selling my soul for I'm good. I'm good. I've survived this far. If it's my time.
Yeah, the protection of that shit doesn't last. And it's like they have no idea what the long-term consequences are, because people are getting side effects from it. And again, I think
these are my thoughts. These are his thoughts. We're not doctors. Just
well,
putting it out there.
I'm gonna quote a doctor. So Dr. Peter McCall was saying fucking that there's now an FDA warning label on the vaccines that they may cause myocarditis, which is heart swelling and shit like that.
Wow.
And, you know, people are having side effects. Just the things aren't fully approved yet, and it is what it is. So we don't have to go down that whole trail. But I kind of regret getting them, quite honestly, because I did have some side effects, and I, in some ways, I don't know if I'm fully the same since I had it, but I'm close.
What did you get? What did I get? Did I get superpowers too?
yeah, right.
Hold on, because things have been going pretty good for me lately, so maybe these are good side effects.
I don't know.
I feel like I'm more in tune with myself. Am I live? Am I here? Hold on. Is this COVID? What's going on? Is this the vaccine?
Who knows?
Shit, you got superpowers? Let's talk about that.
I don't know about superpowers. I just hope that I don't die early and shit.
Call into us. Let us know your COVID vaccine superpowers.
Yeah, no, but for real, I talked to a friend of mine. I'll tell you more about this shit after the podcast or whatever, but she had some side effects that were fucking weird. And I guess you could kind of call it a superpower, but not one that was expected. Anyway. Fucking, yeah, so the show was good. So I kicked it off.
No, what was the superpower? Hold on.
I will tell you after the fucking thing. After we're done with it.
That's the After Hours podcast show that you won't see.
I'll tell you after what happened. It was surprising because I started mentioning it and she was like, yeah, that shit happened to me. I was like, for real? But yeah, so I kicked it off for St. Patrick's. I kicked it off. Dropkick Murphy show at the Radius was the shit. I'm going to go back to that venue. They do a lot of cool shows there.
Yeah. I'm going there in April. I'm going to see Disclosure about tickets.
Disclosure?
Yeah. They're
Who's
like,
that?
They're like a house. They're these two guys. They do house music.
Well, shit, maybe I'll go.
They're dope. They are the shit.
They have a lot of good EDM shows.
And they do like EDM music, and it's like live. They do like live instruments. So it sounds like listening to DJ, and it's live. I've seen them before a long time ago.
But it's house?
Yeah, it's, oh my God. You've never heard of Disclosure? You have. Yeah, you have.
I mean, I might have heard some of their shit,
if
but I
play their
them.
music, you will be like, oh, yeah, I know who they are. Trust me, you have. You totally have.
When is it, you know?
They're here the end of April, that 31st and the May 1st. I'm going that Sunday, so yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Okay, yeah, maybe I'll check it out.
I'm definitely gonna dance my ass off. I'm gonna be very sweaty.
Yeah, two-stepping.
Yeah. Oh man. We're doing push-ups on a dance floor.
Some motherfuckers do that.
Yeah, I'm that motherfucker. I just randomly pull out push-ups.
Like, when we were younger, we used to dance for the love of the game. Now it's just to get some exercise in.
Yeah, it is. I turn on my little Apple Watch. I'm like, what are we on? What setting are we on? I usually do my HIIT high-intensity interval training when it comes to dancing in the club. I don't even go to the club no more. That's just crazy.
I still do once in a while. But here's, like, the shit.
The club?
Yeah, like, once in a while. Like, I was out with...
I feel like I'm in an out-of-body experience when I go. Because I'm like, it feels like, I'm, like, here right now? This is weird.
Yeah, I mean, I go to Studio 63 over there in Summit because I know Louis Tayawa. Shout out to Louis, who owns the motherfucker now. Great pickup, dude. Mm-hmm. We love you so much, man. I'm so proud of you. You got a fucking nightclub and shit. And one with a long history, too, because a lot of places come and go. but that's like one of the ones that's withstood the test
Yeah.
of time. And once in a while I'll check out the competitors. Sorry, Lewis, I know there's a shout out. Once in a while I'll stop at Mars, and then Zoe's over here on Archer. It used to be Bohico. That place is pretty fucking jumping. I tried to go there one night recently, and they turned us away. They're like, sorry, we're at capacity. I'm like, capacity, motherfucker? I've never in my life been told capacity in a fucking place on the south side on Archer Avenue, nonetheless. But yeah, no, I went this last week. I was at Realty Chicago Pilsen, had a little happy hour, and there was actually a competing event. So I went there and I was like, fuck, I thought Rockwood had like, it'd be more like fucking more people there, but it wasn't. But I danced there, and we went to some place in Pilsen afterward, because it wrapped up kind of early. It was called something Whistle. It's
Penny Whistle?
Penny Whistle, that's it. That place was the shit.
Yeah, I've been there.
And fucking, it's like the spot to go. Like, everybody loves that motherfucker now. And it's like nice, and inside all the decor is real kind of a classy feel in there and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were there. And then Friday night, I had a wedding for one of like my best friends from high school. When you fucking dance like that a couple nights in a row, like, I don't know if it's I don't have enough comfortable shoes or whatever, but my feet feel like they're broken sometimes. Like, the bones are like fucking, what do they call those, like, hairline fractures or some shit? I'm like fucking, going hard, and fucking shoes fuck your shit up. And like, you fucking calves are sore, and your fucking booty muscles are sore.
You need good shoes. You need good shoes for sure.
Fuck, and I got some decent ones, but
dress shoes are not the best dance shoes.
They're not, but I got a comfortable pair.
Dad shoes.
They're wide, like wider fucking ones, because I got a fat foot. The only thing is I need arch supports, they told me.
Yeah, you need dad shoes. That's what you need.
Dad shoes?
Yeah, like New Balance.
I got some New Balance. I'm about to show you my New Balance before we got here. Before we got here, I got them over there.
Yeah, see, those are the ones you
those
need
are
on.
the shit.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Who cares? They don't have to match your fucking suits. Wear them. Who gives a fuck? You'll be called dad shoes. Who gives a shit? These dad shoes ain't fucking walking around with hurt feet.
I mean, I usually, like, when I like to go out, I've been rocking the tracksuit and, like, some fucking New Balances. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't go crazy on the kicks. Like, I am going to probably pick up a couple different pair of Nikes and shit. My guys got some nice Air Maxes and shit. They look fucking straight with whatever. But yeah, no, I rock the New Balances, and I'm all about the tracksuits. So, like, me and my guy, Matt, you'll meet him one day. He's coming to practice law with me in, like, May or June. And he's from Wisconsin. He just passed Illinois bar exam, and we were law school roommates while trying to save money on an apartment. Because you get a bulk discount when it's more fucking, you know what I mean, a couple people splitting it or whatever. And fucking, he's all about the tracksuits too. So, like, I had just watched the whole Sopranos for, like, the first time. Like, when I was younger, we didn't have cable. You know, my dad didn't believe in fucking paying that bill every month. And so I had only seen, like, a little bit of Sopranos over at my friend's house. And when you look at the Sopranos, I'm like, God damn, son. I'm like, first of all, they have, like, a new tracksuit in every scene. They look so comfortable, always going around like they're doing business. They're talking shit to people. They're comfortable, ready to fucking swing. And I was like, I wonder what the fucking tracksuit budget on that show was. They had Adidas, fucking Puma, Fila. They had those Fila ones. Like, Fila used to be an Italian brand.
I'm always in sweatpants. Every chance I get, I want to wear sweatpants. Like, I feel like if I describe my look, it's definitely a gay gym teacher. Like, I look like a lesbian gym teacher.
Time for some kickball.
Oh, yeah.
Let's fucking do it.
Or I look like
Miss Lopez from fucking St. Joe's back then. Remember her? She had the curly hair and shit. She was fucking...
I always like, I want to be her. I want to be her, you know? But yeah, or like a Little League. Someone the other day at my work was like, you look like a Little League coach. I'm like, shut up. Because I do. You know, I look pretty gay. You know?
The world needs Little League coaches now.
I won't be one though. I don't like. I wouldn't. I could not see myself as a Little League coach. I'd be like Joe Jackson. I couldn't take losing. I'd be like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You know, like I'm like I'd snap. You know.
They probably need that.
They do need it. These punk ass kids now need it. Hell yeah, they do. That's why we're selling so much weed. People are smoking weed more because these punk ass kids are driving you. Like, you know, I think we came from the generation where our parents drank their problems away, right? So now, the interesting thing now is that this generation is, I'm going to smoke and just get high, and hopefully my kids' issues will go away. Like, that's the trend right now.
Well, it helps you remain more calm.
It does.
While you're dealing with your kids, probably.
Yeah, probably. Back in the day, I don't have kids, but I could just feel it. I feel for people who have kids, you know. You could feel it. Like, you could see the difference in how people are coping with things, you know. They're coping with things more like through smoking and getting high as opposed to drinking. Like, you know, I feel like you're seeing lines at places where people buy weed at dispensaries way bigger than liquor stores. You know?
It looked like a Black Friday fucking
Oh my God, it's a
thing.
Black
When they
Friday.
first opened them in Illinois, they were showing them lines like it was like a Christmas sale in that motherfucker.
That's all the time.
Well, for real, I went into fucking your place, which I won't say the name of, but I do like to support local business. I went in there. It was like going into a federal building, like ID, fucking, we're gonna pat you down and shit. I'm fucking over there, fucking getting all searched and shit. Like, all right, I'm safe. I'm a trusted traveler now. I can walk my ass in there, get some fucking weed products and shit. But I mean, I guess that's all good, you know. Fucking keep it nice and safe. You never know or whatever. But yeah, to your point, I know a lot of parents who do smoke weed, and I'm glad too because, you know, it makes them more calm. It helps them deal with the stresses and the sensory, you know, overload that you get from dealing with children, and it makes you more compassionate. So you're dealing with them in a more compassionate way.
Yeah, it does. It makes you chill out. I mean, I think in general in the society we're all high strung. We're all like we're the number one thing that causes any type of like illness is stress, right? Like
it's
the number one thing in America, I Googled this and Google ain't a liar, and if it is, then Google's lying. But the number one thing is heart disease, and heart disease is a bunch of things underneath that. You can get a cardiac arrest, you can get a stroke, and a lot of that, there's one big thing under that umbrella, and that's stress. So like, you know, when I meet people, and I'm not saying this just to say this about me, but when I meet people and I do a set about my age, how I'm getting older, and I say my age, I know I look young, and I say it because when I say my age on stage, people are like, they gasp, like, oh my God, and it's like, and they're like, how do you do it? And I tell them, like, I don't stress out. Like, that's the thing. Like, we choose what we want to stress about. Like, you are the one who's in control of what you're gonna stress over, right? And a lot of times, I've been learning and meditating and reading is that what you can't control, why stress about it? And I feel like we all stress over things we can't control. The only thing you can control is how you react to something. And if you can react better to then stressing, you're going to be all right. And I think we don't do that. And I know we don't do that. And that's what I do. It's a hard thing to do because a lot of times it's like it's easy to say because it is. You basically have to learn how to check yourself. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, like that hot dog story, funny story, right? But I was pissed off about my weenie, dude. I went red. When I got home, I was hungry. I had the munchies. I was like, you don't understand. Like, I was unwrapping that present like the kid from the Christmas story getting the fucking gun. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, I'm gonna eat this weenie. I'm so excited. I haven't had a vegan weenie. This is my first vegan weenie. No fucking weenie. I was pissed, dude. I was like, I'm going on Twitter. I'm gonna go and write a BBB letter. I was gonna go in on them. I was gonna do like an Instagram live real thing talking about fuck, you know. But I didn't, right? And in those 2 seconds, you know, like, you know the phrase 0 to 100? Yeah, you can do that. Your sensors are like, oh, you're mad. And then I just said, you know what? This is funny. I gotta calm down, and I did, and I checked myself, you know, and that's what I think is very important. That you gotta acknowledge when you're tripping over stupid shit, and most of the time we are. And I think that's what I do is I try to like not trip about shit. And that doesn't mean I don't give a fuck. I care about things, but I don't care that much where I'm gonna let it bother me. Like, nah, it's not worth it.
Well, yeah, I mean, to your point, stress is the big killer.
Hell yeah, it is.
It releases cortisol in your body, and that's what fucks up your heart and your blood pressure and leads it more likely to have heart attacks and strokes. And
that's why people need to smoke weed and chill out. Drinking don't help it. Drinking causes is worse for it.
Well, yeah, I tend to agree with that. Yeah, and when I say I tend to agree with that, let me rephrase that. I do agree with that. As a longtime smoker, but here's what I think. There's always multiple factors in a situation that contribute to something, and so number one, I think it depends on where you're living at. So here in the city of Chicago, it's a very densely populated area. It's sensory overload all the time, right? We got the airport, motherfucking cars flying here and there, people are walking out, fucking people are coming out, fucking making turns right in front of you, and you have to take your chance, because if you don't, motherfucking, you'll never be sitting there for 20 minutes, and then the person behind you's getting pissed, and they're honking, and then you got your cell phone going off, and fucking bang, 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 bang. It's a constant assault to your senses. So that's number one. But if you go to fucking Indiana or maybe like Wisconsin where I go, it's a different story. In fact, they think you're an asshole if you're fucking stressing them or if you're coming at them too quick. Like if you go to some of these other Midwestern states or maybe in the South, you better check your speed and your tone. Like they move a little bit more slowly and it's for the best. But and then another thing, so I think it's location affects that, and then also age. And for a long time I was killing myself and stressing myself with this business because I'm going on 6 years now. May will be my 6-year anniversary. Anniversary was May 2016. I started my own firm, and I was building business, and it takes a lot of hard work and networking. So it's not just like doing the work and doing it well, but then
it is a lot of work.
But then also like networking and building a business because I'm in real estate law.
Building your brand. That's the
building
most
a brand
important thing,
and building your name.
Yeah.
And still doing the work well. And building relationships. It's a relationship business, and it all takes. It's hard to gain relationships, and it's easy to lose them. So you always have to be working hard. And when I was younger, I had more energy and shit, and I feel like I impressed myself looking back on going to some of these events, dancing and fucking drinking, and being hungover the next day, and still being able to get my work done, which I cannot do anymore.
No,
I cannot do it. I have 3 assistants full time who work in the office. And then my wife helps me as well. And I wouldn't be able to do it without them just because of the sheer volume of the business. And honestly, the thing that helped me, like, so I guess what I was going to say is that finally at age 37, I have now gotten to the point where I control my emotions more than they control me. Like, most of the time.
Yes. That's awesome.
Because they're like a drug, and it's easy to go down the path and explore it.
The rabbit hole.
But it doesn't get you a lot of places, except for bad places, a lot of the time.
Yes.
But what I found, what helps me to control them a lot is, first of all, I don't have the energy for the drama anymore.
Yes.
Or the
your
negativity.
Focus, right?
But I learned how to breathe properly.
Yeah.
So I started doing yoga like 2-3 years ago, and it teaches you how to like breathe in a strained position. So you're not mentally stressed, but your body's like
your body's
fucking
stressed.
you're like fucking up like this, you're balancing and shit.
Yeah.
And fucking the instructor will remind you, she's like, are you breathing right now? If not, you should be. If you're having trouble breathing, like if it's difficult to do it or you feel strained, you're probably working too hard. So like go back down or ease up on the position, whatever. So that applies to all other stresses in life. And that's what I didn't realize when I was doing it at first. I was like, oh, okay. So I started doing my little breathing through my nose. I'm sitting there. Traffic doesn't stress me out anymore. Fucking a lot of this shit doesn't stress me out anymore. And the one thing I learned is not to let your first reaction be the one you go with, to take a step back. Because most of the time, the first one is the emotional reaction. Right away, it's like it's a frustration, or that in order to correct the situation, you're going to have to lift some weight. We all carry these weights with us. Everything we do has weight to it, whether it's physical weight or mental weight or both. So fucking you gotta conserve your energy as you get older like this,
and
like as we do.
When you need to use it.
Yeah, exactly. Like save it for the important shit.
And same like with who you hang out with. Like you gotta conserve it from people too. Because some people will suck up that energy. Some people see that and they want to soak up some of it.
They do. I mean,
energy vampires.
There's this. I'll give you a copy of it. It's my dad, he used to read the Investor's Business Daily, and I haven't heard much about them recently. I don't know if they're still a newspaper. If they are, it's probably only online. But they had this thing. It was called the Top 10 Secrets to Success, and they say at the top, we followed people who are successful in all paths of life for many years, and these are the 10 things that we found that they all have in common. Number 1 is like be positive, always have a positive mindset, and beware of a negative environment. So like I'll give you an example. The one day I'm in the ATM line, and Bank of America, they've been slipping. I don't know what their deal is. The corporate bullshit is getting a little too much. They're cutting hours, or they're closing fucking locations without telling people in advance. They don't even put like a gone fishing sign on the window or something, like we'll be back in an hour. Like none of that shit. So you don't know what to expect. You go there, they're fucking closed. Like, oh, we were doing some deep cleaning for COVID or whatever. Like, what the fuck? Like, put a sign out. Like, let us know. People get mad and they're getting ready to drive their car through the fucking doors just to get in there when they're locked because you don't know what's going on, right? So I've been starting to put my checks in the ATM, which I've always been reluctant to do because I had a realtor friend of mine, and he did that one time, and the fucking machine ate up his check. ate that motherfucker up, and he was stressing. He's like, dude, it was like $7-8 grand. He's like, I had bills due. He's like, I needed it to clear in a couple of days, so I was good to go. So I had to have him fucking reissue the check and blah blah blah. So I was always kind of like reluctant to do that. So I'm in the ATM line, and it's like in the middle of the day, and there's like a car or two behind me, and I hear somebody like complaining. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I'm like, there's 3 ATMs. I'm like, you could have maybe went to one of the other ones. Like, there's one parking lot has one, and then if you go back to the main building, there's 2 there. So this dude's on foot, and I can see him in my side view, and he's got his dog with him. He's got like a pit or like some kind of fucking dog, and he's like, really, man? He's like, what are you doing? Blah blah blah. I'm like, what the fuck? And like the old me would have waited and maybe pulled around and got behind him and fucking hit him with my car or some shit. But the new me was like, beware of a negative environment. So when the checks wouldn't fucking go through, they were feeding them back to me because sometimes I'm gonna take like 7 of them and the last 2 won't go in. I'm like, you know what? I'll come back another time because I'm like, I don't know what's up with this dude. He's got a fucking dog. The guy's on foot. I'm like, I'm in a compromised position. I can barely open my fucking door or whatever. You know, maybe this motherfucker's got a gun. I don't know. So I left and I went back later. But that's like the awareness of that negative environment. And there's other good like things on there. Fucking whatever. So I've been following that, been doing my breathing and just managing my emotions and my stress that way. And I'm proud of myself because my dad was a fiery Irish dude. He had a fucking bad temper. Like he was 0 to 60 in fucking 2 seconds, like a goddamn Tesla or some shit, right? Like this motherfucker was fast with the anger, right? Like, there wasn't too many problems of hard work or anger couldn't solve. Like when they wanted to get something done, and that's why I kind of like to your point earlier about like firing, like coming down like a little more hard on these kids or fucking trying to fire them up, right? Like we gotta fucking win the game. We're in the 4th quarter. You gotta give it your all to the last fucking seconds. It's because it probably weeds out the kids that shouldn't be there. And fucking the ones who do fucking, you know what I mean? You gotta balance it though. You gotta reward them at the end or whatever. You gotta balance it with praise as well.
Yeah, praise, but not a trophy.
But exactly. The nerfed up ass, like everybody gets a trophy.
Praises, but not a trophy.
Yo, if everybody got a trophy, you think they'd win when fucking Putin comes in and shit like that? Like, you gotta be fucking ready for that shit. You gotta want it. You gotta work really fucking hard for it. And the feelings. We need to teach kids how to deal with that shit, but it shouldn't be fucking in the middle of some important shit, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to have to figure that out. There's a lot of changes, I feel, you know, maybe we'll get to that a little bit later on, but a lot of changes we need in America with curriculum and we're probably teaching stuff we should, and stuff we should, like meditation, yoga,
mental health,
financial
like,
fucking literacy.
Health. Like, I mean, you know, back in the day, it was religion. For our parents, it was religion fixes everything. You go to God, you pray on it, and it gets better. And so I feel like our parents, I mean, I don't know, I feel like our parents didn't believe in therapy. They didn't believe in mental health. It was, nope,
you kept crazy. That shit to yourself.
Yeah, you kept that shit, you prayed on it.
You got violent.
Yeah.
That's
it. That's the devil, you know, like, that's what it is. And it's like, you know, we're the generation that's really going to see the change. It's up to us to be the next older generation, be like, all right, we believe in mental health. We believe it's important, you know, like what we're, you know, I don't know. I think that's what's going to happen. Like, you know, our generation doesn't believe in it. We believe in it. We're barely believing in it. That's the thing. We're barely believing in it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is pretty cool, though. I really do think that our generation has found, like, meditation, yoga, all these things. And we needed to sorely, and it is on us to teach the next generation. And here's the thing. The next generation needs it. They grew up in an really interesting times. And we kind of all went through it together, but we were old enough to, like, have a better mental framework to deal with it. And I always thought that, like, when I was younger,
I had a social generation.
Well, in a different way than we are.
In person.
And yeah, for sure. They you know, they're texting each other in the same room instead of talking shit, weird shit like that. Little secretive motherfuckers. You're talking shit about your parent behind your back, you cocksucker. But yeah, no, like, I always thought you had to kind of like talk down to kids, but the thing is, like, even from a young age, 7, 8, 9, 10, like, you can reason with them. If you speak directly to them, they appreciate that and they respect it and they're eager. They want to learn because they want to do things right and they want you to respect them as well. And so I learned that, like, if you're just, like, nice and direct and, like, let them know that this is something that matters and then praise them when they do well and shit like that and give them positive reinforcement, like, they're usually good to go. And we need to guide them because when I grew up, you know, if you turned on, I mean, to this day still, I think if you're just watching, like, the basic broadcasting, like Channel 5 or 7, and you're listening to what happened in Chicago, they tell you, you know, there was a shooting, whatever. They don't tell you how to think about it necessarily. They'll show, you know, maybe the community activists and all this. So you still get the facts on places like that. But they've grown up in a generation of social media and fake news and all this bullshit. I don't trust the government. I don't trust the media, like the big media and like online sources. And I never really thought it would get that way. But when I was younger, I did, and I don't anymore. And I don't know if I ever will again, quite honestly. And that's the generation they grew up in. And so that's why things like what we're doing right now is super important. They can be part of the conversation. They can listen in on it, hear this different perspective, learn new ways of thinking and talking and being. And after all the shit with COVID, they need it probably more than ever before, in my opinion.
No, yeah.
So,
Red wine.
wait, I couldn't even sing that tune. Red wine. Fuck, I don't know how it goes, whatever.
I hear it in my head, man. I hear it.
I can't
reggae
get it.
beat, that
Fuck.
reggae beat,
Yeah.
right? There you go. You're almost there.
Red wine.
You're red.
Yeah, red wine.
What kind of wine is that? What is that, Merlot?
This one is. I got a
Cabernet.
Cabernet Sauvignon over there and a Merlot. I just keep it basic because I'm like, I don't need all this shit with, ooh, this has fruity hints of this and that and motherfucking all this bullshit in there. It's like, give me the one that tastes like coffee flavored coffee, whiskey flavored whiskey, wine flavored wine. That's the one that's mine. But the reason I started doing this shit actually is so, you know, like some of the shit, like what's been new with me. You know, I've been exercising, I've been doing the meditation, yoga, all that. But I was at this Southwest Realty Board meeting last week, and they had this lady who was actually one of the funeral directors over there at Ferran in Summit. And she's like, you wouldn't think I would be talking about health and wellness because we're in the death business. But she gave this speech, and she said, you know, a lot of things I already knew. You know, in order to live longer, and the places where in the world where people do live longer is they eat right, they sleep right, they exercise right, they have social, and so being social is very important, and they also drink a glass or two of red wine every day. And she says, she started telling me this shit. She's like, you know, it can scrub the cholesterol out of your arteries. And I don't know what she meant, like, you mean plaque, or you mean like lower my cholesterol levels? But either way, she's a registered nurse. I'm like, you know, it's like, fuck it. I mean, I'll do a little glass of wine because I wasn't even drinking for a long time. Like last time we saw each other, I was still sober. I did an extended sober October, and I didn't drink until the end of February. I was visiting my cousin in Wisconsin. He's a real man's man. I was like, let me raise a fucking glass with him. The guy's a war hero and shit like that, and fucking veteran. And so I started then, but I've been going fucking, you know, soft in the paint or whatever, like with that shit.
Yeah.
Because the first hangover I had was fucking Friday this last week. After that friggin' penny whistle or whatever the fuck. And I was like, ooh, I don't miss this shit at all.
No.
At all.
No.
At all.
No.
And I'm like, kind of like, those days are behind me. I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah.
And it didn't take much either.
No.
It didn't take much.
It doesn't take much. Not when you stop.
I'm lucky I ate some McDonald's though before I went to bed to fucking put something else in my metabolism besides fucking booze. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
The one thing I regret not doing though is Dave Chappelle takes glutathione, which is I think like a form of vitamin C, which apparently it gets depleted really quickly when you drink. So I took some the next day. I had a wedding to go to that night. Marty Murray got married. Shout out to Murray and congratulations, Marty. Yeah, I took some of that and it made me feel better. I took like a little nap before I fucking went, and some of that glutathione. I got up and I was like, ooh, I'm ready to do this.
Man.
Let's go step out on the south side, you know,
crazy.
and listen to some people with some Chicago accents, which there was plenty of, so I felt right at home. But speaking of which, I'm sitting there and it was like we were at like a dead table. It was like me, my wife, and this dude, the other dude, Brian. I'm like, why ain't gonna forget this motherfucker's name? Because that's my name. But he was a cool ass dude. He's a police officer, and so I don't want to say what he does because I don't want to fucking, you know, whatever, throw that shit out there. But anyway, what was he telling me? He was like, dude, he's like, I live in fucking Mount Green, whatever, right by over there by Beverly. He's like, we didn't stop shit for COVID. He goes, fucking, he's like, from the beginning of COVID, we were all having parties at each other's houses, and he goes, a lot of the local bars, it looks like they're closed in the front and they'd be letting people in the back door, and I don't fucking blame them because you're taking people's business away. Like, let me tell you how these motherfuckers do. And I wasn't there for the Southside Parade this year, which is like against my religion, but I had a lot of work to catch up on, and I'd already been to the Forest Park one, which was the shit. You should go next year. He told me, and I heard this from a couple of sources now, the mayor and the governor were there, and they made it 2 blocks in the parade. They were getting booed, and people started throwing shit at them.
Oh, yeah, I heard they were getting booed. Yeah, I heard that.
I don't agree with throwing shit at people, but they got booed and shit. I'm like, wow. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know somebody that went that told me the same thing.
They left after like 2 blocks. They got down to 105th Street, and they got out of the parade. And I'm like, you know, it's a shame they got shit thrown at them, but at the same time, I quite honestly hope that they're both one-term politicians, you know. They both let them fucking destroy the city and shit when fucking, you know, Antifa shit was going on. In the name of peaceful protests, fucking destroyed the city on us and shit like that. We're still feeling those repercussions. A lot of businesses want to leave there and shit. People don't feel safe going down there either. And the police are limited in what they can do, you know. I got a buddy who works down there. He's like, dude, they'll do like flash mob shit, and he's like, they'll start beating each other's ass right over by the bean and shit. And he's like, sometimes I have to stand back and watch, and then once they fucking get out of their systems for a while, then we try to boss them or whatever. But it's kind of crazy shit that's going on in the world. We gotta fucking.
I mean, everything's crazy everywhere, man. You know, everything's crazy there, but there's. I mean, shit. Look at Ukraine. You know, there's war everywhere. There's peace at home. There's war. You can't have peace without war, and you can't have war without peace. So like, everything's all jacked up everywhere. I feel like it's more jacked up because, like you said, the internet is just like it's feeding people's minds. Like, you know, like kids are watching things like supposed to be something funny on TV, and it's a fucking commercial for something crazy advertisement. You know, so I feel like all that shit's wild.
Yeah, the part that saddens me is that, you know, I feel like we can do better, and I feel like we are better than that. But I just feel like you and I sitting here right now, do we want any of that shit? Like any of this war, any of this violence in the streets, any of that shit that's going on over there? Absolutely not. And I don't want it for other people either. The problem is the distribution of resources and wealth is in the hands of the few, and the power in the few, and the politicians, and they're all in bed with each other. And what they say goes, and it's in their interest to fucking keep us divided, keep us fighting, keep us killing each other, and keep that power struggle going all the time. And it's not in our interest, though. And I just hope that, you know, it's funny because they know that the internet's a threat, and they were slow to react at it at first, right?
Yeah,
like,
they were.
They were for a long time.
Hey, okay, have you watched the Tommy and Pamela Anderson Lee documentary? That little show that they have on FX or Hulu.
No, like currently, like they're currently doing it now.
Like Seth Rogen's in it.
No.
It's like a document. You gotta watch it, man.
It's a movie or a series?
It's a series. It's
okay.
like about their sex tape.
Yeah, I think I saw an advertisement.
Oh my god. I'm not gonna do a spoiler alert. I'm only bringing it up because it's about the internet. It's like deeper than that. It's not just about the sex tape, but it's talking about how the internet has changed. Because it was deeper issues into that. It was like about like copyright, who owned it, how could they distribute it. This is when the World Wide Web was barely taking off, you know. So like, yeah, to your point is that the internet definitely changed the game for sure for a lot of things. And like you said, like politics and all that is definitely another way to use it.
Yeah, it is. And the thing is that it empowers people, like social media and broadcasting and open source broadcasting, like what I used to do, this podcast and shit, like to speak freely. There's a lot of places we can't do that in the world, but we have that here. We still, thank God, we still have it. Who knows, you know, they're trying to take it away. But it leveled the playing field, and now they're trying to combat that with censorship and all this, and these big companies are working in lockstep with the government to the point where they may as well be the government. So, you know, as an American who believes in extreme freedom, you know, I believe they're gonna have to step in some way or another. We're gonna have to start banding together. Like what I was thinking is, for places like Twitter and shit, they fucking cut people off. Like, I feel like celebrities need to form like a union or something where we're like, we're gonna use our leverage, and the reason you're getting all those advertising dollars is because we're on your platform, And if you're gonna fucking censor people and
Do you
shit,
think they're gonna try to censor more things? Yeah.
maybe. But I'm saying they'll use that leverage to go somewhere else. Like if you got these people who have millions of followers and shit, and those are the reasons all that ad revenue is coming in there, be like, well, fuck you. We'll go together instead of Twitter, or we'll go to this site or whatever.
Yeah.
Places where it's like kind of like the Wild Wild West or whatever. You can say whatever the fuck you want, which you should be able to do. Combat bad speech with good speech, I feel. But yeah, I mean, it has been bad. I put a song about COVID on YouTube and it got pulled within 1 hour, and they called it medical misinformation.
Really?
Yeah, it was just like it's artistic expression. I just made a little rap song. It was fucking, I don't even want to repeat the lyrics in here because they might pull this or whatever. But it was like riding clean, freedom of choice, and they pulled it off of YouTube, and so it was part of the podcast. It was actually the intro because I did the rap song at the beginning, the whole fucking thing. So I had to edit it off and then re-upload the video just to have the rest of the podcast. And I want to lose, I want to salvage all that footage or whatever. So that's the kind of shit that's going on now. So, you don't realize how valuable the freedom of speech is, but they know it, and that's why they're trying to take it away. And there's all sorts of shit they're trying to do now. They're trying to do something now with America in some of the other countries in the G7 that would be similar to the social credit scores they have in China. Do you know about that?
You know what? I've heard about this, but I didn't think it was like a real
Oh, it's
thing.
real. It's 100% real.
Really?
That's how they control their people over there. So here's what they do in China, apparently. They have a social credit score, so it's similar to kind of like a credit card like you would have here. If you fuck up, you don't pay your bills, you can get your credit score lowered. So over there, the social credit score is if you say something bad about the government or you do something they don't like, they'll lower your social credit score. So next time you try to go to the discotheque or the restaurant you want to go to, a nice one, and you're trying to come in there like, sir, sorry.
Way. You know what?
Your credit score is too low. You can't come in here. I swear to you.
You know what? This reminds me of an episode of that show on Netflix. Have you seen that show? It's like a weird-ass show where they do weird shit, and I know I'm not making sense. I'm a little bit high, but there's this show. Is it? Oh, what's the name of this show? Is it called The Black Hole? Is that a show?
Something like that. Yeah. I think I've heard of it.
And like, there's an episode where this girl is a social, like, it's like she gets rated like Uber, like, but it's about her. So like, and the lower it gets, the worse the car she gets, the worse like, if she has a bad attitude, oh, you went down to 4 ratings, and like, what?
That's what they do to people there.
And it's like this show that everybody's like, there's based on, it's like a sci-fi, but they're like, there's some truth in this sci-fi.
Well, they're talking about doing it here now, so they're talking about, but they're not calling it.
Who's talking about that? Where am I? Where
So,
have I been? Where did you hear this at?
I was listening to, I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. I don't want to mispronounce his name or say it wrong.
Oh my God!
But he was on
own social credit score.
He was on Rogan podcast, and what he was saying is the G7 announced recently, and we'd have to do more research on the news articles on this, but they announced basically what would amount to a social credit score through programmable digital or cryptocurrency. So like the government is kind of feeling threatened by like losing their power to cryptocurrency and the internet and all these things that are free, that have decentralized power in the hands of the few and these big media outlets who used to control everything. So they're talking about now programmable digital cryptocurrency. So originally, my understanding of cryptocurrency is it was put in place by whoever the hell it was that invented Bitcoin and all this, in case the dollar collapsed or any other, we'd have a stable form of currency that is still objectively worth something because everybody's agreed to like get involved in it or whatever, everybody's invested in it will take it as legal tender. And the government now is like, instead of regulating it, like they might make their own, but it's programmable. So like, let's say you do something that they don't like, they can program it where you can only use it on certain things. Or if you piss off your employer when they pay you, they can fucking make it only like, you can only buy food with this, you can only buy this, you can only buy certain kinds of shit. Because it's programmable where it's almost like a food voucher then. Instead of like, or whatever. Like, I'm not saying it's that extreme, but it could be used that way. And all the things with power is a slippery slope, right? It's so hard, once it's taken away, it's so hard to get it back. You gotta like, and I'm not only like to quote Trump or whatever, but fucking, you gotta fight like hell to get it back, right? So fucking, that's they're talking about that's a possibility, but they don't want to call it a social credit score because they know it already has that stigma because we know about it from China. We're like, we don't want to be like them, and they know that, so they're calling it, they're going to use it through currency instead. So.
Wow, that's crazy.
Possibly.
It sounds like the Black Mirror episode. That's what
Just
it's called, Black
say
Mirror.
no. Black Mirror. Black Mirror, that's the show, right?
Episode, yep. Coming to America, that's or something like this. Black Mirror episode is coming to life in China. Oh man, watch that show. That's funny.
It's on Netflix?
Yeah.
So early on, we said that we were going to talk about sacrifice, like to do what we do.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Man, sacrifice. I guess you really don't know what it when you start going after what you really want in life. Like everybody has a dream, everybody has a goal, and if you don't, you do. You just don't want to admit it. Like I know when we were kids, I'm sure you probably always dreamt of being a rapper or an artist. Like there's always that little kid in you that has that dream, and for me, it was always somehow being a performer. And making things, really believing in yourself is one thing, and then when you believe in yourself and then you have to work on your craft or whatever it is you're doing, you have to make sacrifices, like creating my own company, and you've created your own company, you've made sacrifices for 6 years, right? You've been doing this for 6 years, and it's like, what do you have to decide, all right, if I make this choice, is this going towards my career? Is this going towards my future? Or is this going towards just right now? And a lot of times it's usually for the future, right? You're trying to invest in yourself, and the sacrifice you make is you might not have time to see your family. You might not have time to see your friends. You might not have time to go somewhere. And it can come off as selfish, and I feel like that's the sacrifice. The sacrifice when it comes to chasing your dreams is you come off as selfish, and that's not it. I think you kind of need to be a little selfish, but it's when you're doing good for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that, I don't know, that's just how I feel. I feel like you don't realize what you do until you look back and be like, damn, I guess I am really putting my all into something. But who better to put it in than yourself, right?
Yeah, I made the decision recently to be super guarded with my time and what I do, because I know the older I get, the quicker a day goes by, those 8-9 hours and shit, and before you know it, it's time for bed, and you're like, fuck, I'm tired, and what am I gonna do? Stay up late and then feel like complete shit tomorrow? I can't do it anymore. Back in the day, when I first started this business, sometimes I'd stay up till 3, 4 in the morning, or I'd stay up all night and then go start working again the next day, go to a closing at 9 a.m. and shit. And I can't do it anymore, and I don't want to, and that's why I know I have to be more jealous, more guarding of my time, more vigilant.
Time management, hell yeah. I feel like that's super number one sacrifice, is learning how to manage your time.
On the priorities, the things you care about the most. And what I'm trying to do now is, I feel like, my mom's aging and her health's not the greatest, and my brother had reminded me a couple of times recently, and it did sink in. He's like, she had these couple strokes a few years ago, and she's changed. Her motivation ain't the same. She doesn't take care of herself the way she used to, just because of the way the stroke affected her brain. So he's like, you got to enjoy these times with her now while she's here now. And he's like, sit down, talk with her, laugh with her, ask her stuff, talk about the past. And I literally, I started bringing out my notebook, and I was asking her about family in Canada and Ireland. And I'm going to start asking her about, I know the general story of how she grew up and how she moved here to Chicago and all this, but I want to memorialize it, and that way I have a story to tell. And because my dad, when he went to the grave in 2013, Lord rest his Irish soul, and there were some things that he took with him that I didn't get to ask him about, and I wish I could have. And at the time I was in law school, it was my third year of law school, it was tough. But I'm going to include my family more in the sacrifice than I used to, because when you're younger, it's glitz, glamour, new things in life, it's the new stuff out there, you want to try it all. And that's been out of my system for a minute. In fact, I care about it less and less, and I care more about a good night's sleep and then just doing stuff like this project, passion project, the podcast. I'm working on the rap album. I want to have that out before the end of the year. If possible, it's going to take a time to get in the studio and put it all on beats and everything, and get the right beats and get that all tuned, dialed in. But my mom, my family, because the sacrifice at the end of the day, you got to make it for stuff that you want. It's not.
that's why I'm glad, at least in my own business, like, I sacrifice a lot for the clients. That kind of sucks, in terms of, like, I'm doing all this for other people, and it's a quick paycheck, and then, it's a thankless thing. Like, they want more and more from you, but it's like, you're paying me a flat rate fee. I'm not billing for my time over and over again, but they think you're, like, always there to, like, you have to help them out because you helped them once, and it's like, I try because I'm a good guy, but I have to be very limited with that. So, yeah, as far as sacrifice goes, I'm going to really limit the things that I do and just really be guarded my time so I can be successful at the things I really want to be. And it is what it is.
Yeah.
I've been out with my friends. I've given them a million memories. They've given me the same thing. So it's like, if I don't see you soon, it's only going to be the best that I do, And just another thing is scheduling shit, too.
Yeah.
Like, one of my college professors, I can't remember what it was, some kind of sociology class or some shit. And he's saying, like, with your family, with your relationship and shit, like your wife or your husband or whatever, you gotta take time. You gotta make time to take time. Like, you gotta, like, this is what we're doing. This is when we're doing it.
Yeah.
Because if you live that spontaneous lifestyle all the time, you don't get home, and then by that time it's too late to spend time, or you didn't plan it out, and then you don't end up doing shit. Like, it's a fast-paced life we live, and if you don't put that shit on the calendar and stick to it, and, like, know what it is, put it down in the first place, and then make the plans to actually do it, time will pass you by, and it'll be too late, and the shit will get away from you. And I feel bad too. Like, my uncle died in Canada of fucking coronavirus in a nursing home, and I was planning on seeing him. I hadn't seen him since my dad died. He came in, him and the family came in here for my dad's wake and funeral, and I wish that I had seen him, before he passed,
Yeah.
So, but sacrificing in the right ways, I feel, for what really matters.
Yeah,
to
that's
you.
true. Yeah, I mean, it's just time management, knowing what really matters, and knowing that, man, biggest thing is sleep. Like, you are right. Sleep is so important to me. Like, I hate being up late unless I have to be. And that's funny because I'll take naps. I'll take little naps. I'll take a 10-minute nap. I'll do what I got to do. But time is everything. You don't get a lot of time. And that's why I think, like, I focus a lot on just getting the shit done. Like, I have a list. I always have a list of what I got to do. Do you write a list? Do you have some type of structure? I feel like you gotta have structure. With time management, you gotta have structure.
I have 3 things.
You gotta be disciplined too. That's another thing. Like, you gotta be disciplined as hell when it comes to sacrificing.
Well, the word discipline, to me, I equate it with, like, work. And I feel like you don't have to, like, work to the point of exhaustion necessarily, but you have to work consistently.
Yeah.
You have to communicate with the things that you're working on and keep, like, let them bounce into your mind, and then you bounce off of them. It's like a conversation. So I do a journal to recount what I've done, what I've been through, and how I feel about it, which keeps my memory sharp, I feel, and it allows me to, like, express myself and give me something to look back on at the end of the day. And I just started doing it now. I regret so much, girl,
Really?
not fucking doing it, like, throughout since my teen years, probably. I wish I had chronicled my life so I could look back on it and, like, write a book or something, and I didn't.
Been cool.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, I could have.
You can still do it.
Kind of,
You're
but
still
I don't.
doing it.
Like, the people who kept journals can literally do it to, like, the T, because even if you didn't write, like, every specific, reading the journal entry brings you back to the date and who was there and what you did and how you felt about it. So I do a journal. I do a calendar planner. So I have one. I like to keep mine, like, the weekly one. So I see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It has, like, the big month or whatever, but I just use that to kind of see what days fall on what. And I just plan out my week. I schedule. I do all this shit. I put things down up ahead. And then the last one is just a notebook where I write down my things, to-do lists, and things that I want to come back to and shit like that. So at least, like, my friend
So
Vince,
you got a map. You got a map.
A
what
map.
you got to do. Right.
something you can come back and reference. Like, my guy Vince, he always said, the faintest of ink is stronger than the strongest memory. And so that's why he's saying, like, the importance of writing some shit down. So I do all 3 of those things now.
Hell yeah. I like that.
And you mentioned, too, stepping out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. Oh my God. I think that's very important. Anything you do. Like, I used to be, okay, for example, like, I used to, like, run a lot, like, do cardio, and I got into weight training more, weightlifting, and I didn't want to, and I like it more. And I felt weird doing it, you know? Like, I was like, I don't know. I'm really tiny. Like, my physique isn't like a bodybuilder. I'm not big like that at all. I'm just tiny, but, you know, I felt like I'm like the more body for the runner type, you know? So I had I was self-conscious with lifting weights for a while because I was just like, I got little long arm, dangling arms. I shouldn't be lifting weights, but it feels good to like challenge myself and like lift heavier weights, and not just with that, but also like in comedy too, you know, like trying out different crowds, you know, getting booked for different areas, and you know, stepping out of what I'm used to, you know, that's fun. That's always fun because you don't know how good you are until you go somewhere else, you know. So that's definitely important. Open mics are important. Testing out new material. It's just kind of like just throwing it out there, just saying the joke, throw it out there, and see how people receive it. And some people might not take it good, and that's okay. It's just how you deal with it, right? Do you get mad, or do you go back and rework the joke? And that's the whole point of stepping out of your comfort zone, is seeing what works and what doesn't work, and how to react to it.
Yeah, I try to like, I'm kind of a comedian without being one, because I just try to be funny and make people laugh, and like do that when I give speeches or when I talk to people. And I feel like if you buy stock in yourself and you're confident in what you're doing, like I think you can almost lead people into like liking what you're saying or laughing at it if you're like kind of laughing or smiling while you're doing it, because they know what's about to fucking be said is kind of funny, you know. If you can get them like fucking hop on the train with you to ride to that destination, like that's what I try to do, you know what I mean? Or just hit them with some shit by surprise, and then if you get them to laugh, then really fucking go for it at that time. Another thing that I really learned how to do when I'm like giving speeches or just talking in front of people is like try not to walk over your laughs, you know, like ride it out a little bit. Like when you hear it going, like, you know, unless you're on like one of those nonstop things where you really have them busting their bellies or whatever, just like let it sink in for a moment and then fucking really go for it. But yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I mean, I feel like, I don't know, they say people's number one fear is public speaking. But for me, somehow I combated that by, like, I feel like when I'm speaking in public...
They say number one fear is public speaking.
Over death.
Really? Who said this? Did you look this up online? What credible source did you get? Because all the ones you don't listen to anymore.
I don't know. I mean, it's something I've heard.
Interesting.
But yeah, no.
Over death.
Yeah. Like
for me, my number one fear is heights. I don't like
heights
roller
is pretty
coasters.
scary.
Fuck that.
When I was young,
I
used to.
mountain, but I won't go on a roller coaster.
For sure.
Wait, so they said the number one fear is
public speaking. People, it's something that most people don't do all the time. It's not part of their job. It's part of, like, and I think they feel like they're being judged, and that weight is too much to deal with while they're speaking. And there's things they can't ignore. But for me, what I feel is like when I'm speaking to a crowd, I'm in control, and I'm like in control of the direction of where things are going. Listening is more of a passive activity. So like I feel like, you know, you see a bunch of motherfuckers and they're sitting out there, they're looking at you. It's like they're just sitting back chilling. Like you are the one who are gonna have to direct all this and do it. But that's the power dynamic is in your favor then, because they're just doing something where they're sitting back chilling. And then the thing is, like, for a comedy show, like, what are they doing there? Like, if they're in a club or they know it was a comedy show that night, they're there because they want to fucking laugh.
Right.
So all you got to do is do what they already want to do anyway, what they're there to do, you know? Like, just, you know what I mean? Like, people get so scared, like, you know, in college speech class and shit. I remember people telling me, like, I don't normally do this, but I guess we have to as part of class and shit. Like, it's just, you're in control. And then if somebody is fucking rude to you while you're doing it, they're the ones who look like an asshole because people know how hard it is because they're afraid to go do the public speaking. And then if you really want to guilt trip them, if you get somebody who fucking does that shit next time, be like, do you know how hard it is to get up here and do what I did? And in front of all these people, you're going to do this to me. Shame on you, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like shame on your ass. You know what I mean? Help me out, shame this motherfucker. True. But yeah, no, it's all good. I mean, you have to step out of your comfort zone. You don't grow without it. You don't grow without it. And
you don't know how good you are until you go other places.
For sure.
You know, and how bad you are. You know, it's either or. You know, it can go both ways. Just make sure you got enough weed to get through it. That's all I'm saying.
You gotta have a little fuel for the fire, no matter what it is.
Hell yes, you do. Hell yeah.
You know what? It would be cool to check you out one time when you go out of state like that. Like next time, like you said, it wasn't even that far of a drive in Indiana where you went, right?
No, it wasn't that far. But yeah, I have a couple of shows coming up. I've got in state. I've got next week Thursday. I'm at in Berwyn.
Remax Partners in
yes.
Berwyn, Team Luis Ortiz and Sandra Diaz.
Yes,
I'll be there, and I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna promote it. I'm gonna tell other people to go too.
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
You'll get a decent turnout.
First time. Yeah, it's my first time there working with them, so that'll be fun. Come on through, and then the 26th next week as well. Next weekend I'm at Fergie and Fonz at the Good Vibe Comedy Show.
What day?
The 26th.
Is that a Saturday?
That's a Saturday.
I think I'll be there for that too. You're just hosting it, or are you doing a set?
I'm hosting, but Thursday I'm doing a set. I got a couple things. April 16th is gonna be my B-Day show. I'm throwing that out there. But
one more time, what day?
April 16th.
April 16th.
Yeah.
April 16th. Hopefully I'm clear that day. Where's the show at?
It's gonna be at Fergie's.
Oh, at Fergie's?
Yeah.
You got a couple other people coming through to do some sets?
Yeah, I do. I got a couple of things coming up. So yeah, for sure, you know, everybody just follow me over there on Instagram at I am funny ha. I am funny ha. I just wanted to plug that real quick so you can follow me there. You ain't gonna remember all the dates and the names of the shows that I'm throwing out there, so definitely
I will.
Definitely follow me on Instagram. But yeah, Brian will. He's got a great memory. I don't.
Well, I feel like we not fell out of touch, but you were texting me more of your shows, I think, when we had the last podcast.
Yeah.
Text me the flyers, text me that stuff so I can throw it on my story, or I can do a post on my page just to kind of spread it out there. Because this podcast itself has helped me connect a lot of people together.
Yeah.
Like I connected my friend Tilso with my friend Sandra, who now you're connected with, and I was getting ready to connect you with her too, because they do those things at the brokerage, and I feel like they might have you back like twice a year from now on if they like you, or whatever.
No, it's just, man, it's good. Everything's good.
Well, glad to hear. Let me take a quick look through my notes and see if there's anything else that we should mention. We covered a lot of it without even like having to look at this shit. I made a bunch of notes thinking like, fuck, like let's get through some shit.
Cause it just flows like water, y'all. It just flows like water. That's how we talk. We talk chill. We're chill. Yeah, it was fun. I keep looking at your Girl Scout cookies. I don't know why. I've been eyeing them the whole time.
They're not even mine, and the reason they're sitting there is I was trying to give them back.
I know. I just be like, damn, he's got all this liquor, but them Girl Scout cookies are up there, yo.
You can't see them in the camera view, but I'm actually gonna let you have some.
No.
Because they're my father-in-law's, and he's taking some shit too.
I'm
so
good. I just got the munchies, y'all. That's it. I just got the munchies hard right now. What? Yes. I just got the munchies in the cotton mouth real bad.
Well, it flowed really well, and that's the way I like to do these. Quite honestly, like people are like, how do you talk for like an hour, 2 hours? And then every time I have somebody on here, they're like, it went by like it was like that. You know what I mean? They're like, I can't even believe how time went quick.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I'm hearing these airplanes.
Yeah, the funny thing is, they can barely hear it in the recording because. There's actually a lot of shit. Like, we have tenants upstairs. I could hear the kids kind of moving around. That won't be picked up. And then I heard some people talking outside earlier, and I don't think that picks up either. And the reason for that is I got some audio filters on there that keep it out. It only gets the most powerful direct ones, and that low-cut shit in the back is cut out.
Fancy, y'all. This is some fancy stuff. No,
I try.
It's nice. I like your setup. It just reminds me of I'm going on a trip in 2 weeks. The airplanes remind me of that. Like I'm like, oh my God.
You're already thinking.
Yep, here I go, going out of the country. We'll see what happens.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Colombia. I'm going to Medellin.
Nice.
First time, yeah. So.
On your own? What, did you have family going with?
Nope, I'm going with a friend, one of my buddies. We're gonna go first time. So.
Shit, let me know what it is.
Yeah.
Next time you're on, you have to tell us about it.
I do. I'm like, it'll be interesting. I just want to go to like the jungle and hang out. You know, like go check it out. I want to see what's out there. But it's interesting.
Well, be careful.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're good there, but in a lot of places you go, like, if you say the wrong shit, you might not come back. Like, that fucking girl, Brittany Griner from the WNBA, is detained in Russia right now because they caught her with a fucking vape pen and her weed pen and her luggage. And who knows when she's going to get out? Because, like, We're at war, and they know fucking when we put the screws to fucking Russia with all those sanctions, and they know we've been sending aid to Ukraine. Brittany might be a fucking prisoner of war, goddammit.
That is, and you know what's
Free
crazy
Britney.
is free Britney.
She had nothing to do with your shit, Putin.
Yeah.
Dirty motherfucker.
I will say that is fucked up that it's not getting us enough coverage as it should be. Like, that whole thing, they're not talking about it as much.
Well, that's why we got to talk about it, spread the word.
That's what we do need to talk about it, because, like, it's weed, first off. And, you know, she's been over there so many times in Russia. She's been a player over there. Like, that's a whole issue in itself, and that's messed up that nothing's being done about it, so...
Well, we'll keep on speaking about it and just hope that that she'll get out, because this is the worst possible time for this to happen. If this happened in peace times, we'd probably, the diplomats would be talking to each other, the president would probably make a call, but she's like fucking caught in the middle of all the shit that's going on right now, and it's very scary because we've seen it time and time again. North Korea, for some reason, don't be a dumbass American. Like, there's some places you don't really need to see with your own eyes.
Yeah.
I
think
China,
Colombia's okay.
fucking.
Colombia's okay to go.
I think Colombia's good.
I think they're medically legal cannabis over there, if I'm not mistaken.
How could they not have like legal cannabis there? Weren't they like the cocaine capital of the world?
They are. I'm pretty sure a little bit of cocaine is legal too. I don't know. That's what I heard.
I don't know if it's legal, but I know they sell the shit out of it.
I saw that on Google. I don't
like Pablo Escobar, Narcos,
look,
and all
I
that
don't judge people, but that ain't my cup of tea. You know, it's funny.
I hear you.
My cousin's like, "Oh my God, you're gonna go out there? What are you gonna try? You're gonna try what they're known for?" I'm like, "What's that?" He's like, "Cocaine." I'm like, "No, I'll try the coffee. I like Colombian coffee. I'm a coffee person all day."
Well,
But
I think
not into that. I'll stick into my coffee and my weed gummies.
it might be more pure there, because a lot of the time, by the time you get it here, it's cut in with other shit just so they can sell more of it.
I'm sure it's pure, but I want to feel my face.
I can feel my face
I don't
when
need-
I'm with you.
No, I'm good. Yeah, but there's like a mountain thing we want to go climbing that's gonna be fun, and like a little Pablo Escobar tour. Go to his grave and go see where he got shot up at. That's gonna be fun. So yeah, like. I think, I love traveling. I think it's important. Like, so that's the thing, okay? Sacrifice. Yeah, you gotta find time to sacrifice, but you also gotta find time to sacrifice time for yourself from working for yourself, right? Like, owning your own business, you're constantly working for yourself. You're constantly doing for yourself and others. But you also, I think I've learned more. It's okay to learn to be like, I'm not doing shit right now. I'm gonna take a week off or 2 days off or this hour off for myself right now, because that's just as important as working for yourself. You also got to let yourself decompress.
Yeah, you do.
That's part of the sacrifice. You got to learn when to decompress without anything, because I think, like you said, I think that's an issue, is that we don't know how to decompress as a society. We don't know how to just shut the fuck
Most
down.
people really aren't allowed to decompress because of this nasty combination of things that we live in. Number one, wages aren't super high.
Yep. Oh,
Some
no.
people have 1, 2, or even 3 jobs just to support their family, to make ends meet, and they're not getting ahead, they're just getting by. And we live on debt, so you work for your employer and you work for the bank or whoever loaned you the fucking money. And it's hard to get away from that, and you always feel that guilt of like kind of pulling you back. They say that, I read a statistic, I don't remember where at, but it was, you have to be out of town for like 3-4 days before you even fully adjusted to the relaxation of being in a new place and kind of chilling out.
3 or 4 days?
Yeah, that's why, like,
Really?
if you're gonna do a short trip just to kind of decompress, like, you can go, like, we sometimes go out to Geneva, Illinois, or like different places that are not too far away, just to kind of like, and it really helps. But like, if you're doing a longer term vacation, like, or some place where you've never been before, you really need to be there, like, a few days to really get settled in and get used to the feeling of being away.
Yeah.
And the new place to really adjust to it. Well, that's cool. I mean, next, take a bunch of pictures, take some footage, bring back some stories with you to tell when you come back, and we can find you. We can see you at Remax Partners in Berwyn this coming Thursday.
Yep.
That is Thursday. Let me open up my calendar.
The 24th.
Thursday, the 24th of March, Remax Partners Berlin. For all my friends from Remax Partners, I'll see you all there Thursday night. I'm going to be there. And then for those people who don't work with for Remax, think about stopping by anyway, because Adriana's gonna fucking.
Yeah.
How long a set you doing? 20 minutes, half hour?
I think 10 to 15.
Oh, 10 to 15?
Yeah,
Okay.
15 minutes. Yeah, so come on out, guys. It's gonna be a good time. My first time, and then I also have my show the 26th, the Good Vibe Comedy Show.
At Fergie and Foz
in
Summit, Illinois. That starts at.
Doors open at 7. So
Showtime at 8.
Yep.
So you got an hour to get a little buzz, and come on by for that. I believe I will be at that one too, because there's no major UFC events or anything I'm hosting that night.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Brian likes his fights, and that's cool. That's cool. You know, I've got plenty of things coming up lined up, like April. I'm teaming up with this friendly insurance group, and we're throwing comedy shows at senior homes right now.
Good. They need laughter.
You know, they definitely need laughter. So I'm, you know, my production company, we're hiring comedians for that. So, you know, we'll be coming to a community center, a senior center to you soon in April. I've got 3 dates, but also have I'll be at the Red Room at the end of April. I got a cannabis show coming up in April too. So April's gonna be cracking.
Well, your birthday show too. You said
My
April
birthday,
16th,
April
a Saturday.
16th. That's a Saturday.
And that's at Fergie and Foz too.
Yeah, I think that's the day before Easter. But that's probably gonna be a fundraiser that I always like to team up with something. So stay tuned. Just stay tuned to my Instagram, the I Am Funny page, Nana Rodriguez. You know, Brian, I'll definitely text you all my stuff so you could check it out and post it. But, keep supporting us, keep supporting this podcast, keep supporting comedy. And you guys remember to focus and sacrifice and follow your dreams. Don't give up. It's never too late. You know, Brian had an awesome intro. I'm sure he's got an outro or a little something he could do, right?
I have an outro, but it's not quite a rap. But
it's all right.
We'll hit you with
I
that in a
know
minute.
he's got something.
I got one question for you before we wrap it up.
What's up?
You were working on a new room nearby on the south side over here, not too far away in one of our neighborhood places.
Still working
That's still a work in progress?
Yeah,
okay.
Yes, it
Very
is
cool
still
venue.
Yeah, it is still work in progress, and I should hopefully know pretty soon.
Keep us updated with that.
Yeah, I'll
too.
keep you guys up. I know it's like cold talk, right? I can't say anything yet, you know, guys. But
I'm interested. I don't say shit to
Just
anybody.
know I'm always working, and know that you know, just know I'm always working. Just like Brian's always working on stuff, I'm always working on something. But when I do get the news and I find out, I'm definitely coming back. We're talking about Colombia, and we'll talk about it for sure, Brian. For sure.
Cool. Well, keep an eye on Adriana Nana Rodriguez. She'll be in a theater near you, and she'll be bringing funny people with her too. So support all your local comics. It's a mutual relationship. You support them, they support you, and everybody has a good time and laughs.
Yes.
So on that note, this is something that I say at the end of every podcast. I've been able to get along with people of all races and genders in different places in my life by starting from a position of kindness and respect. And with everything that's going on right now, we need to be kind to each other and respectful, because I believe that it's not, us versus us, it's us versus them, the powers that be, and all this division that they're trying to sow amongst us. So, hey, how you doing? Good morning. Can I help you? Or, how are you? Or, hey, that's a really cool, shirt like you used to do back in the day when somebody's rocking that band shirt you liked or whatever. And just connect with people. It's easy, and we shouldn't lose that. And, good people make each other good. And so be good to yourself, and be good to your family and your friends and your community. And tune in next time to the Blessed Life University podcast. We love you.
Peace out.
Peace. Be good.